All right, hey everybody. PC and trees, I see you. Um, Everybody not in the chat, watching later. I was sitting thinking about things, and this is just on a whim, I guess, that I went live today to talk about this. But um, I said before that it was a little early to be looking at different reasons and things and whatever behind the election and stuff, and maybe that's still the case to some extent. But the title of the video, "A Republic If You Can Keep It," refers to a 1787 quote made by Benjamin Franklin when asked, "Do we have a republic or um, a monarchy?" And Benjamin Franklin said, "What we have is a republic if we can keep it." And that doesn't mean, because there's some confusion about what that means out there. And it doesn't mean that we've picked a republic and just that we elect our people and it's chosen by the people. That's not just what it means. It's part of it. But what he meant by that was that it's going to require the involvement and the active participation of Americans to keep that republic and to lead it in the direction that it goes, and that we have a responsibility towards it if we wish to keep it. That's and if someone thinks I'm getting some part of this wrong, feel free to say so. And I did get the stream bot back up and running. PC. I had to mess with it some this week, but so anyway, that brings me to where we're at now. Like, I hear all these excuses from Republicans. I don't even know if they deserve to be called Republicans anymore. I feel like maybe I don't know, some kind of hateful term is better, but the bigots, I guess, that that it's Donald Trump had an economy and gas was cheaper and eggs were cheaper and just all this stupid fucking shit. And it's like, okay, like you're telling me that you sold your fellow Americans down the road for a few dollars, right? Like you embraced bigotry, racism, xenophobia, hate in all its forms on your fellow Americans because eggs were expensive. Fuck you. Like, for real, fuck you. Like, this is crazy talk. These are the excuses that hateful, bigoted people make. It's yeah, and not true. First of all, when have prices ever went down on anything? Gas, of course, comes and goes, this and that. But for real, like, is any meaningful price in these things going to change? Is anyone fooled for a moment and thinking that was a possibility, no matter who was elected president? Like, so that kind of shit doesn't fly. And then now, and I've tried to contain my outrage and just straight cussing and being an asshole about this for a while, because I thought let's watch and see what happens before you just go on a cussing tirade before the Kentucky comes out. Okay, let's wait a minute here and watch and see what happens. All right. Not that I thought it was going to get better, just for the sake of, I didn't want to say things without thinking about it for a moment first. And some of these things I said early about the hate and the bigotry on multiple channels, I've pointed out that was the thing. I now think that I can give a good explanation of what the problem was, and it doesn't have shit to do with eggs or gas or the media or which by the way, the media, no, that there isn't that, sure, there's right-leaning media and left-wing leaning media. Sure, that's a thing, but the media has fooled everyone. The media has lied to you and talked about the sensational topics rather than focusing on the important things. And this goes to the MSNBCs, the CNNs, the Fox Newses. They're all the fucking same, guys. Don't fall for that shit. That's just a distraction to get you to watch. That they could give a shit less. And you know, I think Morning Joe demonstrated that perfectly this week, because it was so important that him and me could sit down and talk with Donald Trump, right, and kiss his ass. That was an important thing for them to do, for sure. And talk about the economy and and all those things. I mean, it's these things aren't funny, but I can't help but fucking laugh at just how stupid Americans are being played as. And apparently a lot of them, you know, walk like a duck and quack like a duck, you know, like the so yeah, Congress is having hearings on UFOs. Meanwhile, racism, bigotry, hate, camps, deportation, our rapist in chief elect has decided to point a number of other rapists to his cabinet to run our government. Surprise, surprise! Like no one's seen that coming. Only the best people, right? Only the best people. And here we have not just is that the case, but our government, the Republican right wing of our government, MAGA, whoever they are, has shown that they're willing to actively cover up for a pedophile if it's what Trump wants. Who is a pedophile also, let's be clear. Hundreds of hours of Jeffrey Epstein tapes, tons of pictures. Donald Trump himself on Howard Stern saying he goes into the dressing room at Miss Teen USA and looks at the girls because he owns the place. Like the pedophiles. You know, meanwhile, we sat around while they've been calling everyone who's a Democrat groomers for years now and argue about fucking groceries and gas and and it's just like it's like, when are we going to embrace this part of if we can keep it? Because it seems like, I mean, it is like that most people just don't give a fuck. And if, I mean, you're entitled to feel however you want and think whatever you want, and unfortunately to view your fellow Americans however you want. But whenever, you know, that there's this famous line, you know, that has to do with us that says, united we stand, divided we fall. They put it on our fucking money, guys. Like, I was like, damn, somebody's mad. Yeah. They put it on the fucking money. Like, so to think that it was some meaningless fucking term that didn't mean anything, it is mind blown, right? At the same time, he's addressed to cut out LGBT military. Yeah. Yeah, the Hegseth guys all over that too, and women. So the fact of the matter is, and you know, I don't care uh, if people agree with me or and honestly, well, I'll go that road in a minute. The fact of the matter is that not only did America vote for a racist, bigot, rapist, spy who stole national defense secrets and leveraged them to his own use, who is a pedophile and hung out with the worst pedophile in American history, was his best friend. Not only all those fucking things, but now we have our Congress actively trying to cover up for another pedophile so that he can have the top job at the DOJ, so that he can make decisions on American laws. It took hackers to do what Americans that we have elected to Congress couldn't do, to go and show the depositions from underage girls that say they did have sex with Matt Gaetz while they were underage, and over $10,000 worth of Venmo payments to these girls. So it's not a question of whether these things happened or any of that shit. There's no question of that. The GOP has just announced that they will not release the ethics report. And again, thankfully, hackers went and retrieved much of it. The last couple days, I don't know. For those of you that follow me on social media, I closed my Twitter account. I'm no longer streaming to Twitter. I'd been streaming every show to Twitter. That's no longer the case. I have I'm on Blue Sky now, and that's there's links to that. I haven't added the link to the stream bot, but I took the Twitter one out. But it's on my page. You can go find it there. I need to remove it from the description of the videos. I forgot about that. And I'm on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. And I had a post. Jess, as you may know, many of you know, I'm sure, helps out with a lot of the art and a lot of the stuff and the memes and things. Helps me with a lot of the advertising stuff that I put out on those social media sites and stuff. And it's been a huge help for the channel. The channel's growing. Things are going well in that aspect. Not that matters right now, but I had a post that Jess had made. She went out of town for 4 or 5 days, and right before she left, she gave me this post I put on Instagram about well, hold on, I'll show it to you. And sorry for those of you that came into the middle of me ranting about things loudly, but that's how it gets sometimes. Here it is. Let's take that. And how do we upload things? You would think I knew how this worked. We're getting ready to switch platforms anyway, so I'm not really. Where are the overlays at? Here they are. I'm getting ready to switch all this stuff anyway, so I'm not really worried about keeping it incredibly organized at the moment. But so this post I put on Insta. I put this in multiple places. You may have seen it somewhere if you follow me on any of those things. But I posted this in multiple places. And it says, if you worship a God that drowns its children for being disobedient, you have no right to criticize our moral standards. And all I put as a label on that was I said, Jess is awesome. And that's it. Over the last 3 or 4 days, that post on Instagram got almost 5,000 views and has well over 100 comments. And you know, I like these things, and they are like, I mean, look at it. It's obviously an advertisement for the channel, right? Like, it's got the Kentucky Atheist down here. I do talk about creationist claims, blah, blah, blah. I haven't really been in the mood to have a moral argument with any theists lately because, let's face it, given the things we're talking about and the fact that right-wing Christian nationalists are largely responsible for the situation that our country is now in, I haven't really been in the mood to have a cordial conversation with them, nor do I care if I do. It's never really been, for most of you, you realize that it's not really been a focus of mine to worry about arguing with Christians so much. So whenever this post went up, there was, those that said, oh, no, it's not this, it's not that, it's blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to debate it with you. This is how we feel. Like, this is me telling you. Essentially what this says is shut the fuck up, is what it's saying, right? It's saying your book advocates for the murder of children. So please shut the fuck up. I mean, maybe it would have been better if it said that, but I don't think that would have worked on Instagram though. But so I get all these comments and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, the Bible says this and that, and I start going back and forth. And as I said, this got 5,000 views in a few days. So it wasn't something that I wanted to. I wasn't wanting to argue it to begin with, but whenever people leave me messages and stuff, I tend to respond. And the amount of people that got on there and made excuses for God murdering children, condoning rape, condoning slavery, condoning genocide, the amount of people that got on there and made excuses for that, or just gaslit me and told me that those things weren't in the Bible and that I needed to read the Bible, which of course they always say. That's the equivalent of the Republican thing of you need to quit watching so much liberal media, right? So I ended up going back and forth with a few people and had these whole big long things about, yes, the Bible says it. Here's the verse. Here's the verses where it says these things, to have them come back and make excuses for words, and that those words don't mean that. To force yourself on a woman isn't the same as rape. They could have used the word rape, like like that kind of stuff, right? Just gross, disgusting, awful things. To the point, eventually, I just stopped being nice and said, "Fuck it," whatever. The yeah, PC. That's a great link right there. I've got I pulled a lot of stuff from there, but the I don't know, and it's kind of got me in a funny place because I don't really focus talking to most theists anyway, and so much of the atheist community is worried about going and arguing with Kent Hovind and other people the Jim Bobs of the world, not Jim Bob so much anymore, but these other people and stuff, and or even if it's not those people, going and arguing about, does the Bible condone slavery? Yes, it's in there. It's not a question anymore. The not only have we read it and it's been argued up and down by many people, the scholars agree that the Bible is promoting slavery in that aspect. That's not the case of whether it does it or not. That's not a question. The question has been, can we justify that it does that? And that's been much of what the argument has been, right? It's been people making excuses for, well, it was a different time, and so we say, oh, well, it was a different time. Is it okay to own people in it? Was that okay then? Because it seems like maybe your all-knowing, all-powerful God should have known better. Well, he was talking to those people where they were at and blah blah blah. Yeah, but he told them not to eat shellfish. Like, that was more important. Like, don't wear mixed threads, but here's how you treat your slaves. So these are things that there's not, like, we us in this community, like, one of the things I talk about is that I do this channel with the expectation that most of the people in my small area of this community, I'm content with where they are and who they are, and I think that most of us, not everyone, of course, but I think that most of us understand that it's no longer an argument. So let's fast forward and apply that to this, okay? It's not an argument of, did Trump run on bigotry and racism and those sorts of things. That's a fact. Those things for sure happened. And what we've seen is people who call themselves Christian nationalists, Republicans, whatever, pieces of shit's what I call them. They have tried to justify voting for a pedophile, rapist, bigot, xenophobic spy to be the leader of our country. Though he has the values that they want. He's a man of God, is what they say. And hey, finally, I mean, like, I think they're right. I think that Donald Trump definitely has the same values that the God of the Bible has. I do. I think that he's an authoritarian, tyrannical monster. I do. And congratulations, I guess. I mean, congratulations. You got what you asked for. But here's the thing. Don't start backpedaling now, MAGA. Like, don't tell, I see all this shit online about, oh, all these MAGA voters regret voting for Trump, and the biggest search was, can we change our vote? No, you get to own it now. You chose this. Be fucking accountable for it now. Because me personally, when these things come up, I plan to hold you accountable. I plan to call you out on being a piece of shit. I mean, I'm not going to just go around calling people a piece of shit, but I might. But when these conversations come up, don't think that we're going to talk about the price of fucking eggs. Like that's right before the election, I was challenged to a debate over on Les Farm's channel, and the guy, someone else ended up debating him. And the thing that he wanted me to come debate is that he wanted me to support the policies. Hi, everybody coming in. What's up? Hey, Robin, Big Bad Mama. How you doing? They wanted me to support Kamala Harris's policies, and I said, well, that's no. You can argue for like that's having two debates, because then you're pro Trump and I'm pro Harris, and we're arguing too. That's not how a debate works, generally. And I said, so rather than do that, like you're saying that Trump is good for America, you need to defend that position, and I'm going to give you the reasons that he's not. I'm taking the con on that debate, right? That's how that generally works. And kept coming back to this, these policies of Harris, and I said, what don't you understand? This isn't an argument about what policies Harris has that's better. This is the direct threat that this person poses to democracy and to Americans in general. This is about Donald Trump's history of racism, his history of bigotry, his history of xenophobia, his history of trying to fuck America. And congratulations, Maggie, you did it! Yay, you've done it. And now we're justifying making pedophiles the head of the government. Let's do that. Sounds like a good idea. You spent years calling the left groomers. You have no problem with Matt Gaetz fucking kids, though, right? You have no problem with it. You have no problem with him paying over $10,000 to two underage girls to have sex and bring him drugs, which I know you hate so much. Sorry, I needed a drink. So you'll have to forgive me if in the future I don't take you at your word when you say you care about the price of eggs, or the price of gasoline, or the whatever, like you'll have to forgive me if I don't see that as the most important aspect of your particular authoritarian positions. Yeah, sure, yeah. I was just going on about Matt Gaetz at the moment, Robin, but yeah, RFK, piece of shit too. The Hegseth guy, piece of shit too. Who's the other one? There's another molester in there. There was another one. Multiple rapists. Jim Jordan, yeah, Jim Jordan. He's a very powerful member of Congress. In fact, he came out today and talked about how Matt Gaetz was one of the best members of Congress there are. How Matt Gaetz is this respected person who always has the best rebuttals and things. Like, excuse me if I don't give a fuck about Matt Gaetz' rebuttal on which by the way, from what I've seen, every time Matt Gaetz opens his mouth, he sticks his foot directly in the motherfucker and says something stupid like promoting Dr. Oz, promoting Chinese propaganda and stuff on the House floor, Russian propaganda. Him and Clan Mom Marge are great for that. But like those kind of things like are secondary to me to the pedophiles, the rapists. Those things matter a bit more, like call me the dumb atheist with my atheist religion and things, like the stupid fucking shit that people say, like that's fine, say that, but now I get to say that you support pedophiles, right? Like that you're for that ideal, which to me seems to be just a touch more important than the price of fucking eggs, okay? Like, so how am I to it's the same shit I've been going on about, Stephanie. It's I didn't say anything new. How am I to interact with, like, I live in Eastern Kentucky. Robin's from Kentucky, and I'm sure many of you are from areas that have. I mean, at this point, I imagine it's hard to not be surrounded by at least several people who support these things. Like, how do you continue to interact with people that make you want to vomit in your mouth? How do you, I mean, like, not that I'm looking for it, but like, I said in the past, that because of the young Earth creationists and all this other stuff in the area that I live, that it's hard for me to take these people seriously. Like that, I don't trust their judgment, and I don't. I don't. Their magical thinking and all that other stuff, like it makes it hard for me to like look at people seriously already, and now it's worse than that. But if you can't tell, if you can't tell, um, but like as for like I don't care to sit and have the conversation. Like we did the Saturday night at the atheist thing over on Dave's channel where we discussed some of the claims, like, but that's in fun, we're like kind of making jokes and joking around about the silly claims that creationists and Christians make. Like that's one thing, but like I've said for so long, I'm interested in having honest conversations with anybody that wants to do that. But what are how I don't. That's no longer the case because I don't think they can have that. And yeah, to impeach someone, first of all, Stephanie, you have to have them doing committing some sort of high crime or misdemeanor, and our government's unwilling to apparently hold Trump accountable for those, and then also they would have to then vote to convict him of that, and right now they're too busy covering up for a pedophile, so I don't see that happening. Um, I don't want to. I'm not trying. In fact, if anything, I don't wish to stir up fear. It's quite the opposite. Uh, we have to. We absolutely have to work together on these things. We have to. We have to support each other. The There's you know it's unfortunately this hasn't even really started yet, right? I mean, like this is just the lead up to the real shit. He's not actually even in power yet, and this is what's happening. So um, he keeps saying it like it's a fact. Who's saying what like it's a fact? Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. He sent his prostitutes to Pretty Woman. Um, and I don't know. I don't know if this person is. I'm not sure who you're. If you're making this remote, the guy on here is saying is a pet. Yeah, the guy on here is saying he is a pedo as a fact. He is a pedo as a fact. That is a fact. And bye, fuck off, kick rocks, bitch. Um, I don't. This is what I just went through. This isn't a fucking argument. This is these things. The $10,000 in payments are laid out. The girls, not just the ones that he had sex with, but others saying they've seen him having sex with underage girls. The messages are laid out. All of these things are there. Trump admitted to it himself. So which one of those um, is Matt Gaetz is not Mate Gatz. Mate Gatz. Yeah, Mate Gatz isn't, but Matt Gaetz is. Um, the uh, I don't. I just finished I just finished going through a whole thing about I don't care if you agree with me. Like you can I don't give a shit. I wasn't here to discuss it with you. Anyway, Matt Gaetz. F affiliate. He's still a pedophile. um, Matt Gaetz was going to high school parties looking for young girls to have sex with. Two of them came forward and um, well, that's not how we define it in the United States. It's a legal term that I'm referring to. Pedophilia in the United States refers to having sex with those under the age of consent, which in Florida is under 18. Um, the um, and it wouldn't even well, doesn't matter. The the you know, again, I don't care. I mean, you call him whatever you want, Justin. I'm going to call him what he is. Um, this is we have multiple uh, multiple of these people with a long list of sex crimes, and they are now being appointed to the highest levels of our government, and the GOP has agreed to go ahead and approve these people. In fact, they're saying that Trump should try to set it up for recess appointments. Um, the uh, the Republicans have been trying to lower the age of consent. Yeah. Um, the hold on, guys. What? Okay, sorry. I know, Justin. Uh, I know the and that was kind of the point. Is like uh, if it would make you feel better if uh, well, I don't know. I don't know. I understand, Justin. I'm not. It wasn't you that I was actually upset with. It was the one up there. I understood what you were doing. I just wasn't going to engage in arguing about the semantics of appointing a person that has sex with children to the highest levels of our government. I wasn't gonna engage in that argument with you. Just so you know. The well, my hair looks crazy. Um, so what's the point of nuance if people use it to defend sex pests who assault kids? Yeah, right. The I almost think we should let the dumb motherfuckers have what they want. Oh, they're getting what they want anyway. There is no letting them have what they want. They've already done that. They've already decided that they're going to put Americans in camps. They're going to make it illegal to to be transgender, and they're already pushing that stuff in Congress now for people who haven't even been seated yet. Um, the they they have already decided the route. Yeah, we will all suffer, and they will too. And that's what I mean whenever I say, don't start backpedaling now, because you're going to be held accountable. You know, right now everybody's upset, you know, about some of the ideas. You have, it's a left and right thing still at the moment, whenever really this isn't a left and right thing at all. But right now, we're still going through it's a left and a right thing until people start hurting, until the economy gets ran into the ground, and people's rights really start, until it actually starts happening, until these things get put in effect. You know, they've joked around and said, "Ha, Project 2025 was always the plan," which is you know what we've said here a number of times. Not that anybody here is arguing that, um, but the once these things actually start happening, I look for things to get a little more serious, because apparently, since people are so concerned with the price of fucking eggs rather than other Americans, whenever they can't afford eggs anymore or anything, then I bet they start caring again, right? Um, maybe not. Maybe not. You know, it may just be that, just like with religion, they crave a rich, tyrannical overlord to treat them like shit and make their lives horrible. It may just be that that's what they actually want anyway. Hard to say. But let's rewind a little bit before I get worked up again on something else there, and go back to the election. So there's a lot of conspiracy theory stuff going on out there about they cheated in votes, and the bullet ballots and all that bullshit. Um, I would encourage you to use your skeptic powers of good, and to wait for more information before you go around repeating those things, because um, seems like maybe that's not a great thing to be behind right now, and it doesn't seem to really matter either. The people that if it's found out or whatever, fine. There are some irregularities and some numbers and stuff, and people are looking at that, so let them look at it. Um, uh, I don't think that it's wise to go and say things are a certain way before we have that information. And um, as nice as, you know, I understand why people want that to be the truth, but this isn't the case, and it doesn't change the fact that half the country is still a bunch of bigots and stuff. Anyway, back to the other thing. So back before the election, Americans were polled, and they were asked, you know, what's the most important thing to you, and the economy and immigration and those things came out as the most important issues. And what Trump did, what Republicans did is why they invested so much money into like anti LGBTQ propaganda and the xenophobic propaganda and all that stuff. Why they invested so much into that was to scapegoat these other groups of people, right? Because they seen Americans are upset about these issues, but they don't really have any one person or anybody to point to be angry at. So what they did is they said, you know what? It's the brown people. The brown people are the reason that all this is going on. Those Mexicans, they're taking black jobs, whatever that means. Um, the woke left, you know, it's the woke left, and they're worried about these things. And they scapegoated these whole groups of people and said horrible things about the Alien Enemies Act and other stuff that they plan to do. And then whenever we start talking about the Alien Enemies Act, he goes on, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the pets, folks. Then everybody was focused on the crazy shit being said rather than the little bit of policy that was being put forward. Because we like to say, well, Trump didn't have any policies, and he had very few, but he did have one for sure, and that was, we don't take kindly to your kind around here. That was the Trump policy, which I'm very familiar with coming from Kentucky. We don't like your kind. And it was very much the brown people. You know, Elon Musk, foreigner, here illegally, technically. We're going to make him head of a government agency, which I know doesn't really exist. But all those brown people, they're rapists and drug dealers and not their best people, right? It was when you combine that with the sometimes the outright wide open appeals to white supremacy, but the dog whistles and things also included there. The symbols and the numerology and the things that were put out there to appeal to the neo-Nazis and to the Proud Boys and to these others white supremacist groups. The scapegoating of brown people, the scapegoating of woke people was very much used to give Americans someone to point at and be angry with. So then whenever people say, I'm upset about the price of eggs, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that the facts of that are that financially and the economy and most people were better off in the last 4 years than they were under Trump, during a pandemic of all things that he botched. It doesn't. The facts of that doesn't matter because they don't see it that way. They see it as, this is why these things are happening, because of these people, because you have the media screaming 24 hours a day on Fox News and Newsmax and OAN and all that shit of telling people that this is why that's funny, Justin. So you broke it. You made me crack up in the middle of it. They're yelling about these things nonstop, though, keeping people whipped up into a frenzy about it. I had Nick on the other day from End Time, who was a great guest, and it was a really good show. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. But we talked a lot about the different people that were being appointed and how this was going on and stuff. And the thing that I've continued to talk about that I don't really hear a lot of people saying anything about, but there's still this among the left. There is still this, well, Trump's not really going to round up 20 million people. He's not really going to do that. And if you motherfuckers ain't willing to start listening and paying attention to them doing the things they say they're going to do, then I don't know how we're to get anywhere, first of all. But also, I pointed this out, and it's something that the media doesn't cover. Nobody else covers, really. A few people on YouTube are talking about it, of course. But we cannot deport 20 million people. We do not have the money to do it. We don't have the logistics to do it. We do not have a mechanism to deport 20 million people. So the army, the military's already been told that they're going to be used to gather these people up. It's already being put in motion. I'm doing the fucking Trump thing over here. It's already being put in motion for the things to do this. So what the fuck happens when they gather up these people and can't do that? And nobody really answers that question. They're like, oh, camps. Yeah, well, we know that. Like, we already know that. There's going to be camps just for the dissidents. Like this shit going online and talking about Trump probably won't even be allowed to do this, I would imagine. But what happens to, and remember, we're talking about, because the reason that Trump inflates those numbers to 20 million people is because, guess what, guys? It's not just the illegal immigrants he's talking about, not just the undocumented folks. That's not who he's talking about. The Alien Enemies Act allows for them to do more than that. Read it. We went over it on a show here with the title, the Alien Enemies Act. This has been and it's like they want to say, oh, Trump's not going to do that. America isn't going to allow for that. Well, we're allowing while we're just permitting things to happen, guys, which is a bullshit way to talk about this. While we're permitting things to happen, we're allowing them to appoint pedophiles to the highest levels of government. Or sorry, if anybody doesn't like the word pedophiles, sex criminals. We're allowing them to put sexual deviants to the head of government that have committed sex crimes. And many other crimes too, but at least that many. So, like, so there's at least that going on, right? I mean, like, nobody has said people are talking about, like I'm on here talking about it. I can't personally do anything more than come on here and talk about the fact that our government is actively covering up for Matt Gaetz, an ethics report that shows that he paid over $10,000 to underage girls for sex and drugs, flew them, participated in sex trafficking. I mean, but while we pretend that it's allowing things to happen, it's not. A huge portion of the country voted in support of these things, and you would be, first of all, I'm going to call you names if you try to do it. I'm not going to be very friendly about it, but if you try to convince me that this has to do with the price of groceries or gas or some other stupid fucking thing, that Trump's a man of God or something, like those are not the reasons for this. Sure, there are dumbass motherfuckers out there that believe those things that Fox News has spouted forever, but you're a dishonest person if you tell me you haven't seen the rhetoric and the blowback and things said, because even Fox News reports that people call Trump a racist for saying racist things and for befriending white supremacists and being buddies with Nick Fuentes and the things that Stephen Miller says that he supports and the things that all of his racist buddies says that he supports. I don't let people talk about economics running the election without disrupting the chat. You can't tell me that is the reason, because I'm not gonna buy that. Like I get, like, I understand none of these statements is all people, right? Like I get that it's not all people. There are the uninformed and the ignorant and those things, and which is why it's titled A Republic If You Can Keep It, because we have a responsibility to be informed about these things. And apparently we've turned that responsibility over to media who is willing to lie to us about those things without consequence. And now Trump plans to ban the media that tells you anything, at least the partial truth, which, you know, left-wing mass media is dog shit too, but at least you get some of the truth from them, even if they don't want to call out the bigotry and the racism and all those things. They don't want to spend any time on those things. In fact, I couldn't believe my mouth dropped open whenever, after the election, the left-wing media goes on TV and says, yeah, it was Kamala Harris and the left, them embracing the woke agenda. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, did they not pay attention to what just happened? Like, this had nothing to do with that. It's just, I don't know. I felt like coming on here and ranting about these things today. I had a few days to sit down and think about it. Had a few conversations with some friends and stuff. Watched a few videos. You may have heard me echo some of the things that Jay Bundy said over on Pocket Logger. I mean, Jay and I have been in agreement on these things for some time now, but it's like, rather than you're adding to the problem when you pretend that this is a conversation about economics, or Trump's a man of God, or he wants what's best for America. You're adding to the problem when you engage in that sort of stuff, because you're distracting. Yeah, the first thing that somebody should recognize when we're talking about this is that he's a racist. He's a bigot. He wants to do harm to other Americans because of the color of their skin or the people that they love. And he wants our government, and they are actively covering up for sex criminals to hold the most powerful positions in our government, so that he can put forward his plans of racism and bigotry. Like, rather than acting like this has a fucking thing to do with the price of groceries or gas or any of that stuff, let's be real about it. I mean, it's not a happy message. Kamala just had yeah, Kamala just had bad messaging. I guess that sounds better than we talked about his lies nonstop for an Olympiad. So people calling out hatred are now the bad guys, ass backwards. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, which, this is the thing. This is the thing that makes me, whenever I looked back at the attempts, the assassination attempts, or the one attempt and the other things concerning assassination attempts of Donald Trump. The one thing that they immediately started saying was the left is, whenever these people weren't like left-wing people, and they were saying, oh, it's the rhetoric. They're calling Donald Trump a racist and a fascist and all those. It's because those things were true. But whenever they started saying that, it should have been a little clearer in the moment, I guess. But that what was going on there, like, it didn't matter that those weren't the people that were behind it. It was an attempt to. It was helping them to demonize and create boogeymen out of brown people and LGBTQ people. And the woke agenda, the reason that they never wanted to define woke is because we knew what they meant when they said that. We knew they were trying to use it as a bigotry term, right? They were, it was not that term is the bigotry term, that it was a dog whistle for the bigotry, that they were trying to cause that association. Does that make sense? But congratulations, MAGA. You're going to cover up Matt Gaetz' sex offenses to make him Attorney General. You should be proud. You should. You're going to put someone who paid off a woman to be quiet about sexual assault. You're going to put him in charge of the military. You guys should be proud. Yeah, Nancy Mace. Yeah, her, and I seen her and Clan Mom Marge. I seen them on TV talking about not letting trans women use women's facilities at the Capitol building, and then the first openly transgender member of the House, they are already trying to make her life hell, and using hate to, they stood there and misgendered her 20 times, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Clan Mom Marge is what I call her, but said a lot of despicable things. She did say one interesting thing this week. Not that I think anybody gives a fuck, but she talked about how if they want to release the ethics report on Matt Gaetz, then maybe they need to release the other information they have on other members of the GOP that were involved with Jeffrey Epstein and some of the same activities as Matt Gaetz. I found that really interesting because I don't think she's full of shit on that. I mean, maybe she is. It's a toss up really on that one. Most of the time she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, but when it's involved with that kind of stuff, I imagine she probably knows a few people, right? She's friends with Matt Gaetz was, but she said that maybe all that needed to come out too, and I think it does. And also this ethics report, it's like, first of all, I know that Mike Johnson went on TV and made all these different excuses of why they shouldn't release it, and others said, well, if the standard is to not release it, then we shouldn't. Well, the standard isn't to make all the people accused of sexual assault. It's not to make them head of the DOJ either. So there's that. But aside from that, there is precedent for it. I'm sure you guys know. But here's my question. Is there any piece of paper produced by the House of Representatives outside of intelligence and top secret materials? I get the need for classified materials. I get that. Especially as it applies to national defense documents and things like that our Congress has to be involved in because of the Constitution, which we still have at the moment anyway. But so I understand that. But outside of that kind of thing, is there any piece of paper or any report produced by our Congress that is not property of the American people? I'll wait. So when we talk about confirming somebody to a cabinet level position, any reports, ethics reports, even if it was a good report on someone, not that maybe there was like some report talking about the great job that some Congress member did. All of that stuff should be part of that confirmation, right? Like, like the, um, I, you know, call me gullible, I guess. Um, it's just the now that they've won, though. I mean, now that they know they're going to control the House, the Senate, the presidency. Now that they know that, they're not even trying to hide the fact that we're just going to openly cover up. We know, like, they're aware that hackers have leaked this stuff. They're aware that a lot of people know about it and everything. But they're also aware that our media isn't going to make that the focus. Instead, they're going to talk about Trump's plans for the economy and blah, 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 and jobs. And they, they, I just don't, I mean, like, I don't, and they say that there was this post, and I think it was Jim Jordan. Nah, I forget who it was. It might not have been. There was this post that said Matt Gaetz is going to get confirmed. Eat it, libs. Yeah, like, you really think this is a win that you're going to appoint a sexual predator to multiple sexual predators to cabinet level positions in government? The You think that's owning the libs? You think that you think that you're not owning the libs. You're hurting America. The Mike Johnson claims that his masturbation will be all about transparency. We don't do a regular stream on this anymore, Maya. That's why Robin's not here. This was just something I did on a whim, and since it was going to be mostly focusing on political issues, I used the Politicality tagline so that nobody wandered in thinking that I wasn't going to be discussing political issues today. Um, the Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one. Linda McMahon is the education secretary. I'm going to be the education secretary. J.D. Vance today is parading Matt Gaetz around the halls of Congress where he resigned from today, and everybody's going on TV and talking about Matt Gaetz as such a great choice and going to be a a wonderful attorney general, even though he's barely an attorney, right? Like, they were going to take his license because he doesn't practice. He's never his courtroom experience is at a minimum. He is not the knowledgeable attorney. That's aside the point. That doesn't even matter. That doesn't. Well, we don't even need to get into that because I think the conversation stops at sexual predator who paid underage women over $10,000 for sex and drugs and orgies, and flew them to go see Pretty Woman. Like, it's rather on the nose, right? It's like you like just it's right there. I mean, And I can't help it. I like what we've had before all this. Whenever Matt Gaetz' own side wanted him out of Congress, whenever he filed the motion to vacate for McCarthy, and they went and they're standing outside talking about, yeah, Matt Gaetz had sex with underage girls. Matt Gaetz went around showing pictures of underage girls and talked about how he likes to crush up ED pills and chase it with Red Bull and stuff. Like, but now those things, because Trump wants him in a position of power, should be ignored, because what Trump wants is more important and they should support him no matter what. How about have a fucking backbone? How about that? How about stand for fucking something, anything? Stand for anything, you fucking cowardly bunch of pieces of shit. How about that? Too much to ask, right? Right. To say that I get disturbed about these things is it might be an understatement at this point. Um, the I don't know, but I do want to say that it's going to be important that we hang together and we continue to, and if Robin wants to come back and continue to do this weekly show now that we've had a couple weeks away from the election and everybody, because I know there was a lot of emotional trauma and things for a lot of people for this, and so I kind of backed off a little bit because of that. I didn't want to. I didn't. First of all, obviously, I have strong feelings on the issue, but I didn't want to. I I don't know. I needed a moment to process, I guess, and I think other people did too. And so, if Robin wants to come back and do that weekly show, we can continue to do it. Um, I don't know that. Well, I don't want to do it weekly though. We can do bi-weekly or monthly, even, or something like that. But or as needed, even as necessary. The guns, yeah, we haven't even got into that, Stephanie. We haven't even got into all that. That's a whole nother fucking thing that I haven't got past the. I haven't got past the fact that a majority of Americans supported an openly bigoted, racist, fascist, authoritarian, spy, rapist, piece of shit for president. I haven't got past that yet. Anyway, imagine this thing going to the maximum extreme. People are forced to go to church. Yeah. Well, luckily, America's the land of loopholes, and I'll just form my own church. Um, uh, most Americans rejected a woman and person of color and embraced fascism. Yeah, racism and bigotry. Um, the unspoken parts of that. Yeah. I've said repeatedly that it's going to be really important that we come together and that we that we stick together on these things, and that more now than ever. The arguing about the price of eggs and the price of gas and that kind of stuff. Just that can't be where we let this go. We cannot, because they want to distract from those things. They, I know, Robin. That's why I didn't even say anything. Um, we have to quit letting them distract from the fact that they want to uh, hurt Americans, or just people. Let's just go people. Let's just say people in general. Like, a bit of good news that came out when I was talking to Nick is Biden did allow for Ukraine to protect itself against Russia, um, and to fire long-range missiles at the to defend against the Russian missile attacks and stuff. I mean, there are bits of good news coming out of the politics spectrum. I don't think that it's really the thing that, and that most Republicans are against that. The the I mean, Trump has made it clear he wants to bulldoze Gaza and the Palestinian people, commit a genocide so that he can put hotels and things there. That all came out too. So I mean, yeah, the Trump wants to support Israel too, but and the funny thing is, the funny thing about that, I remember all of these back whenever it was a thing of, I'm going to put in a protest vote because Joe Biden's supporting Israel, and they're uh, they're killing people, and that's true. And I said that whole time, there's no good guys here. Quit trying to make someone out to be the good guy. There's innocent people, right? Which are neither good or bad. They're innocent, right? That's what I mean by that. And then there's terrorists, which are obviously bad people. And then there's the genocidal Christian right of the genocidal right of Israel, which is obviously bad. So there was no there was no good guy in that, and these I'm going to have protest votes and vote against Biden and all this stuff, and you know what you did? You voted for the one that openly wants a genocide, right? I don't agree with Biden's handling of that, the Biden administration. I'm not saying that they did the right thing there. I've spoken about it before or whatever, but it's hard to take you seriously when you vote for the exact opposite of the things you say you support. On my Facebook page, one of my friends that I grew up with and went to school with said that they were voting for Trump because of the sexual immorality of the left, that kids going to school and hiding from their parents, that they were transgender, or anyway, sexual morality. That was the thing. And I said, you have to be fucking kidding me. So because you don't like this one thing that is, I mean, let's be real about that. That's how he framed it. That's not how I'm framing it. The not that it really matters, but uh, you have a problem with gender affirming care and kids, whatever. But Donald Trump's best friend is the biggest pedophile in American history. Was. Donald Trump himself has openly admitted to all kinds of horrible things in this arena. So like, it's always this thing. It's always this. Oh well, you either get the I don't want to admit that I support bigotry and racism, so I'm going to say it's about the price of things and the economy and all these things it's obviously not about. I don't want to admit that I'm part of that, and I don't want to be confronted with that. So I'm going to say it's about these. There's that. But then there's also this whole other portion that just openly says, I don't. The left is groomers. Donald Trump was found guilty of rape. That doesn't matter. Donald Trump has been accused of sexually assaulting 26 women. That doesn't matter. His best friend was the biggest pedophile in American history. He was on his plane over and over. Phone calls, blah, 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 all that stuff. That doesn't matter. But on this one thing that isn't really even a thing, this is what drives your decision on that. Forgive me if I can't take you fucking seriously anymore. I just can't. I just can't. I think that, and especially now, because a lot more has came, after the election. Whenever you can't argue that it's just politics, they're just campaigning and saying things. Yeah, no, Maya, I agree. That's it, and that's kind of what I'm driving at. The I can't take you seriously if you tell me that you voted for Trump because it's better for the economy. Trump had a horrible economy. One of only two presidents to have lost jobs. Horrible numbers in the economy. Horrible numbers in every aspect you want. I mean, so I can't take you seriously on them topics, on those topics, first of all. But then the fact that you're even talking about those topics rather than talking about the actual important things, and I've said this before, and just to hit the gun thing, Stephanie, the number one cause of death of children in this country is gun violence. Guns is the number one cause of death of children. I'm from Kentucky. I've grew up with guns. I have no problem with guns or people responsibly owning guns. I don't. But that being said, I don't give a fuck what it is you have to do to change that statistic. Don't care. And I don't think anybody else should either. Whenever something that I experienced personally, I've been to jail over child support. And I went to jail over child support not because I just refused to pay it or any of that. No. Because I worked my whole life until recently, and it was always taken out of my check and stuff. But I went to jail over a gun charge years ago, and that's when the child support was first enacted. And that whole time I sat in jail as an indigent inmate. Indigent means that you have no money, no way to get money. No, you're deemed unable to afford anything by the state. You have zero income. I don't know the actual definition, but that's what it describes. The child support kept piling up, and then later I got out of jail, and even though they had taken it out of my check the whole time I worked and stuff, they still threw me in jail for child support. Now, that being said, fine, whatever, it's the law, they did it, whatever. I can not like it, and that's fine. I'm not arguing that people shouldn't pay child support. That's not it. What I'm saying is that whenever someone comes and makes the argument that well, fathers should have to pay child support, nobody wants to argue against that, because it's one of those things, like drunk drivers. Nobody, any punishment you can think to give to a drunk driver that's killing people, people are behind, because that's an awful thing. You want to know what else is an awful thing? Allowing guns to be the #1 cause of death of children in this country. That's an awful thing. And I don't give a fuck what it is that we have to do about that. We need to do it. All that other stuff is just do something, anything. And what did we get? We got thoughts and prayers. We got nothing, less than nothing. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that real far, but it's the same kind of thing, though. It's like these things that should be obvious that we need to fix, like, are instead the enemy of our government. And rather than Americans keeping a republic, just to go back to the title, rather than them taking the responsibility to be informed and to take part in their government, instead we let the media and corporations drive the narrative to those people to confuse, while taking funding away from education and things that would all prevent all of this. You know what stops bigotry and racism and violence and all those things? You know what the biggest thing you can do to stop those? Education. Education is the #1 thing that stops people from these irrational positions, right? We see this, the atheist community. We see this with religion. I'm not saying you're stupid if you're religious. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we find that the magical thinking aspect of it, especially, is less common among educated people. The just openly supporting any kind of guns at all without any kind of legislation at all is something that uneducated people support. The bigotry and racism, it's mainly uneducated people. Now, I understand that there's also the hate-filled group of people, the people who want it all to burn, and that want to have a government and a country that is focused on hate. I understand that that's part of it too. But I'm just saying, overall, education would stop people from being fooled by the least little thing. Like it's not going to prevent the indoctrination and the what the right wing, what media does to try and influence and create um, extremists. It's not going to stop that completely, but it does give people the tools to better assess these questions and to make better decisions um, based on the information. But whenever you add all that distraction and all of that other stuff on top of the hatred and the bigotry and the scapegoating of certain groups of people, when you add all of that on top of it, this is what you get. Um, hey gang, what? Stephanie Helms is a beloved member of our community by myself and many others here. If you haven't had a chance to donate yet, now or never might be the right attitude to take. The yeah, if you want to help Stephanie out, go help Stephanie out. Yeah, yeah, sure, always. I I don't know, but she's facing eviction by the end of the month and doesn't currently have a new place of residence. Yeah, help Stephanie out. Post the link if you've got it. I'm all for helping out members of our community that need help. Um, there it is. LinkTree, Steph Sells. Yeah, go over there and donate and help Stephanie out if you can. I hope it's better late than never, but a petition might help illegal. I hope it's better late than never, but a petition might help a legal situation. If we could get enough signatures and testimonies to plead for an extension or something. An extension of what? I'm sorry, Lena. I'm uh, just now privy to this information. Sorry. I mean, I knew Stephanie had been struggling prior, keeping her in her home. Extent. Yeah, I think that's. I mean, I don't. I think I would focus more on trying to get donations. I don't think there's a legal foot to stand on there. Um, I will. I'll post that on my stuff after the stream, though, Lena, to try and help out. Uh, Underemployment. Yeah. Well, I hope that Stephanie gets the assistance that she needs. Um, I would hate to see that for Steph. Steph's been somebody who's fought for a lot of good causes for a long time. and had to fight her whole life. And one of the people that I look up to in this community, and that uh, America fucked um, in supporting racism and bigotry. But but yeah, I will. I'll grab that. Well, I know Stephanie's LinkTree. I'll grab that stuff and try to post it around and help out. Put it in all my social media places after the stream. I don't know that it will help, uh, but I'll try. But I think that's all I got, folks. Go help Steph out. She needs it. Um, we, we do have to support each other in the extent that we can. Things are things are rough and not looking much better. Thanks, PC. I see that you sent me. Um, but I will. I'll be back tomorrow with Ian Chin to really just have some fun and joke around about. We're kind of going to just mock creationists, is what I get a feeling of. Um, it's hard to. I've had trouble focusing on some of those things because of the recent events, but and then I've been sick too and stuff here not too long ago. But and not the most important thing, but still have a show to do. The channel still is still the Kentucky Atheist, and so Ian Chin will be here tomorrow. I'll post links out there everywhere for that show coming up. Sunday, Secular Rarity will be here, and I look forward to that. That'll be a good show. And the following Sunday will be the Apostate Sisters will be here. So lots of good shows coming up. I'll do a member stream Friday. So I did this today. I'll do the show tomorrow. Friday, I'll do a members only stream, which will be an open panel probably. Saturday, I'll be on Dave's channel, depending on what the topic is. And Sunday. So lots of my pretty face all over the internet this week, guys. I gotta go. Get fitted for a CPAP machine tomorrow, so that's not something I'm looking forward to really. But anyway, thanks for coming and watching, everybody. Sorry that I ranted and went on the whole time, but just some stuff that was bothering me that I felt like needed to be said. If you can help Steph out, go help Steph out. I'll post links for that stuff for everybody. It's linked. It's LinkTree. Steph Sales is Steph's information, but I'll post that and I'll put it on all my stuff for everybody to find. Also, I announced this earlier when there were only a couple people here, but I'm no longer on Twitter. I no longer stream to Twitter. I'm now streaming only to YouTube and Twitch. I deactivated my entire Twitter account, and you can find me on Blue Skies now. The Blue Sky, the Kentucky Atheist. That's what it is everywhere. So I think there just a moment ago, PC prompted it to show all my social media stuff. Blue Sky isn't on there yet. I got to add that, and I've got to take Twitter off of my. It's in the video descriptions still. It's taken off of the. It's taken off of most everything, but it's still in the video descriptions. So I've got to replace it there with the Blue Sky link. But it is on my channel page. I encourage everybody to go over there and join. A lot of our community and a lot of creators from our community are over there, and you know, it's got a lot of the same things that Twitter has without being owned and populated by Nazis. I'm sure there's some, but not like Twitter. Much better place. Much less toxicity, which is a good thing. And thank you, Lena. That's nice. I look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow with Ian Chin. It'll be a more lighthearted thing. We'll have some fun. I know that we can't it's hard to not talk about these things that are so important and affect so many members of our community and others. But at the same time, I think that we do have to have some lighthearted fun here and there. And so we'll do some of that tomorrow. I look forward to having Ian on. Ian's a lot of fun. So tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time, that's when that'll happen. Anything else I need to say? I'm sure there is. I forget half the things I'm supposed to say when I do this, but just to leave you with it again, one more time though, the title of this video was "A Republic If You Can Keep It." Benjamin Franklin said that in 1787, and it wasn't saying as long as Americans vote for it or if you choose that. What he was getting at is that we have a responsibility to be informed and to make informed decisions and to take part in our republic to ensure that it continues for the people. And when we don't do that, we don't get to keep it. And I think, unfortunately, we see some of that going on now. So thank you so much, everybody that supports the channel. Thank you to my channel members. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. I'll do a members only video Friday for the channel members, and probably before this weekend sometime I will post another piece of my story over on Patreon that will eventually be a book. They're big long audio files that I'm posting that will then be trimmed down later. Thanks for all your support, guys. Have a great one. Thanks. Bye.